What if the last Jumanji movie was also the greatest one? What if they hid something inside it? Something so emotional, so perfectly placed, that it made an entire room of Hollywood insiders go completely silent. And what if the game finally escaped? Not into four strangers' bodies, not into a video game cartridge, but into the entire real world. Hold on, because what Sony just revealed at CinemaCon 2026 is not just a movie announcement. This is a cultural event, and it starts right now, Las Vegas, April 2026. CinemaCon, the biggest gathering of cinema owners and Hollywood power players on the planet. And Sony Pictures walked in like they owned the room, because for one single presentation, they kind of did. The lights dimmed, the crowd went quiet, and then a title card hit the screen that nobody was fully prepared for. Jumanji, open world. The room erupted, because this wasn't just a sequel announcement. Sony made something very clear, very fast. This is the final Jumanji film, the closing chapter, the last ride, the end of a franchise that has pulled in over $2 billion across its modern era alone. And they weren't coming to play it safe. They were coming to finish the game. Sony's presentation confirmed everything fans have been whispering about for 2 years. The full original core cast is back. The stakes are bigger than anything the franchise has attempted. And the concept? The concept alone is enough to make your jaw drop. The game doesn't just pull people in anymore. This time, Jumanji comes out. Now let's talk about what was actually shown at CinemaCon. Because the footage described by people in that room is somewhere between a fever dream and the most fun they've had watching anything in years. Sounds absolutely insane. In the best possible way. We open in a diner. Ordinary. Comfortable. The kind of place you grab pancakes on a Sunday morning. And then chaos. Dr. Smolder Bravestone, Dwayne Johnson's avatar character, is sitting at a booth. But something is wrong. He's glitching, flickering. And when he opens his mouth to speak, out comes a full, thick, completely unexpected Spanish accent. The diner freezes. Customers stare. And Bravestone looks just as confused as everyone else. Because the game is malfunctioning. The avatars are stuck, glitching between personas. Switching accents, abilities, personalities, completely out of their control. And that's just the beginning. The footage then cuts wider. And you start to realize this isn't just a problem inside the game anymore. The jungle is bleeding into reality. We're talking full Jumanji environment merging with a modern real world. Overgrown vines splitting through city sidewalks. Ancient stone structures erupting through parking lots. And animals, real, terrifying, magnificent Jumanji animals, loose in the streets. A rhinoceros charging through what appears to be downtown traffic. A stampede of creatures that have absolutely no business being anywhere near Starbucks. The game world and the real world are colliding, and nobody knows how to stop it. This is the concept that makes Jumanji open world feel genuinely different from everything that came before it. The first modern film trapped people inside the game. The second brought the game into a retro console. Now, there are no boundaries left, no rules. The game has gone open world, and humanity is playing whether it wants to or not. But let's be honest. You don't come back to Jumanji just for the spectacle. You come back for them. And from what was shown at CinemaCon, this cast has never had more chemistry, more chaos, or more comedic gold than they do right here. Dwayne Johnson as Dr. Smolder Bravestone is still the anchor. The physical powerhouse trying to hold everything together while his avatar glitches around him like a broken download. Johnson plays the confusion and the frustration with this perfect blend of action hero gravitas and complete comedic bewilderment. The Spanish accent scene alone is already being called one of the funniest moments in the entire franchise. Kevin Hart as Franklin Mouse Finbar, still the emotional, panic-stricken, hilariously underpowered MVP we love. The footage shows a moment where Hart's character, already dealing with being a tiny avatar in a massive world, ends up on a Segway during what appears to be some kind of animal chase sequence through what used to be a quiet suburban neighborhood. A Segway during a stampede. Kevin Hart, completely committed, completely terrified, completely perfect. Karen Gillan returns as Ruby Roundhouse. And from the footage shown, Her character gets some of the most intense, emotionally layered moments in the film. The merging of game world and real world seems to affect her avatar differently, and there are hints that Ruby's storyline carries real, emotional weight this time around. And then there's Jack Black, as Professor Sheldon Shelley Oberon, who appears, based on the reactions from CinemaCon attendees, to have been given the most chaotic, unpredictable, downright bizarre sequence of glitch moments in the entire teaser. Jack Black, playing a character whose avatar keeps accidentally switching into other avatars' traits, is apparently the kind of comedy that makes people laugh until they can't breathe. The balance of action and comedy here looks immaculate. Jumanji has always walked that tightrope beautifully, but open world looks like it's dancing on it. Okay, stop everything, because this is the part of the CinemaCon reveal that silenced the room. This is the part that matters beyond box office numbers and franchise strategy. Buried inside the footage shown in Las Vegas was something that nobody was fully expecting: a Robin Williams Easter egg. Now, to understand why this hits so hard, you have to go back. All the way back to 1995, the original Jumanji film. Robin Williams as Alan Parrish, a man who spent 26 years trapped inside the game, alone, waiting to be rescued. That film defined a generation. Robin Williams defined that character. And when we lost Robin Williams in 2014, the world lost something irreplaceable. The 2017 reboot was careful, respectful. It honored the mythology without trying to replicate what couldn't be replicated. But open world goes further. The Easter egg, which filmmakers have confirmed is intentional and deeply considered, involves the dice. The original, iconic, wooden dice from the 1995 film. Those dice were the heartbeat of Jumanji. They rolled. They decided fates. They were the game. In the footage shown at CinemaCon, those dice appear in the real world. Not in a game cartridge, not on a screen, in someone's hands. In the physical, merged, chaotic real world that Jumanji, open world, has created. And the moment those dice appear on screen, the font, the framing, the musical cue underneath is a direct, unmistakable tribute to Robin Williams and the film that started everything. People in that room at CinemaCon reportedly went completely quiet, and then they applauded. Because it's not cheap. It's not a gimmick. It's a love letter. From everyone who made this film, to the man who made Jumanji what it truly is. To Alan Parrish. To Robin Williams. And if that moment lands in theaters the way it landed in Las Vegas, this film will make people cry before it makes them cheer. Now, beyond the core four, Jumanji, open world, is bringing back more familiar faces. Nick Jonas returns as Jefferson Seaplane McDonough, and with the game bleeding into the real world, his role appears to be significantly expanded from what we saw in the previous films. Additional returning cast members are being kept under wraps for now, because Sony clearly understands that surprise is part of what makes this franchise work. But early reports suggest that the emotional connective tissue between the original mythology and this final chapter runs deeper than anyone expected. New characters have also been added. New players pulled into the game, or rather, pulled into a world where the game is everywhere now. Their identities haven't been officially confirmed, but the footage suggests at least 2 new avatar combinations that look wildly different from anything the franchise has shown before. But here's the move that tells you everything about how much Sony believes in this film. Christmas 2026, December 25th, the most coveted release window in Hollywood. The slot reserved for films that studios believe are events. Films that families choose together. Films that dominate the conversation and the box office from Thanksgiving through New Year's. Jumanji, open world, is planting its flag directly in that territory. And the competition? Significant, crowded, exactly the kind of battlefield where a franchise either proves itself or fades away. But consider the history. The 2017 Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, opened in that same Christmas window and became one of the biggest surprise hits in cinema history, ultimately grossing over $962 million worldwide. Its 2019 sequel, The Next Level, crossed $800 million. This franchise doesn't just compete at Christmas. It wins at Christmas, with open world being positioned as the finale, the emotional, spectacular, purposeful closing chapter. Sony is betting that audiences who grew up with the 2017 reboot are now old enough to feel the full weight of an ending. And audiences who remember 1995 are absolutely ready to feel it too. This isn't just a movie. This is the closing of a loop that started 30 years, 8G, ODS. Oh, let's bring it all together. Because this is what Jumanji, open world, is offering the world. The game breaks free. Reality shatters. The avatars glitch. The animals are loose. The jungle swallows the modern world whole. And 4 people who have done this before have to find a way to end it. For good. Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, together one final time. Comedy that makes you lose your breath. Action that makes you grip your armrest. And somewhere in the middle of all that beautiful, glorious chaos, a pair of wooden dice that carry the spirit of a man the whole world still misses. Robin Williams gave this story its soul in 1995. And 31 years later, Jumanji, open world, is honoring that soul in a way that sounds genuinely, powerfully beautiful. Christmas 2026 is not just a release date. It is a destination. And right now, in April 2026, the question that every Jumanji fan on the planet is sitting with is this. Can this be the perfect ending? Can a franchise that was reborn once find a way to close the loop with heart, with humor, with spectacle, and with the kind of tribute that reminds us why we fell in love with movies in the first place? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Backhand index pointing down. Are you ready for Jumanji? Open world? Is this the ending the franchise deserves? And what do you think that Robin Williams Easter egg is really going to look like on the big screen? Let's talk about it. Because Christmas 2026 cannot come fast enough. Bell subscribe for every Jumanji open world update as it drops. The game is just getting started.